Alex, a very disturbing news article was released recently, and wanted to get your 2 cents about it. As a married person,
I can only offer 1 cent.
Alex and I are on 2 ends of the spectrum. Alex has a wife and kids, and I do not. I have never been married. I'm single. I haven't had a steady relationship in. It'll be a year in November 1st, actually. So very close to being a full year of total singledom. So this article came out, and I don't know. Well, we'll see. We'll see what we think about this.
Okay. Dive in.
This is a study from ifstudies.org. Family Studies, International Family Studies. Let's say that. I don't know what it is.
Okay.
The sex recession. The share of Americans having regular sex keeps dropping. And it's kind of interesting here because on one hand, as a elderly person, I'm kind of like, well, after like 35, I'm not surprised that especially no matter if you're single or in a marriage, I would not be surprised that the number drops drastically.
As you age.
But that's not entirely what they're talking about. So that's why I was sort of like, ooh, okay, let's talk about this. Current times are hard. People aren't making as much money. People are worried about social issues or international issues, war. So war, famine, and economy are all concerns. So it's not a big surprise if that is affecting people's sex lives. And maybe it is, but maybe there's other stuff going on. Americans are having a record low amount of sex. In 1990, 55% of adults aged 18 to 64 reported having sex weekly, according to the General Social Survey. But around the turn of the millennium, that number began to dip. By 2010, less than half reported having sex weekly, and by 2024, more than 1,000 men and women queried on this topic by the GSS. That number had fallen to just 37%.
Okay, so about a third then.
Yep. So
of those adults.
From 55% has dropped to 37% in the 20 years? 25 years, 24 years. 1990 to 2024.
That would be
34 years.
35 years.
So we've got a nice little graph here illustrating this descent into
that looks like our bank account
masturbation
or the player base for Starfield.
Oh wait, yeah, this is the wrong thing. This is the Starfield player list. The sex recession has been documented previously. In 2016, Jean Twenge found that the decline is largely a cohort effect. Younger generations are having less sex than their predecessors did. The causes: a decline in steady partnering, especially marriage, and a decline in sexual frequency within couples. Okay, so that means that isn't an answer. I mean, it's true then that marriage has gone down, but they're also saying a decline in sexual frequency within the marriages.
Mm-hmm.
Alex is like, mm-hmm. These findings largely hold true today. Between 2014 and 2024, the share of young adults aged 18 to 29 who reported living with a partner, both married and unmarried, fell 10 percentage points from 42% to 32%. So that makes me sad.
So it seems like it's just across the board, really, at this point.
Yes, because, I mean, it's one thing to be old and lonely. It's another thing to be 22 and lonely and alone. And it's like, that's when the 18 to 29, that's the time of your life. Maybe let's say 35. 18 to 35 is like going to be the best time era of your life in theory. And I mean, that's when I was living with girls.
Like a young Mustang.
Yes, I was out on
the Ponderosa.
It was like, I had at least 3 long-term girlfriends during that time where we lived together for maybe 1 or 2 years. In different points in my life. Let's say, so like when I was 20, early 20s, that sounds like anyway, point is that I had
your college
I had
years,
college and post-college relationships that were 3 to 5 years with at least a year of living together in that era, and having lots of sex, like every day.
Yeah. I'd come and visit him, and he'd be all sweaty when he answered the door. There was nobody else in his apartment.
Well, I didn't say I was having sex with a girl. I'd be like, Alex, please come to my hall of Ona holes. Please. Showing off the Ona holes tonight.
It was like that scene in Return to Oz when Dorothy walks past that hallway with the heads.
Yep.
It would be the same with just like Ona holes.
I think number 4 will do for this afternoon. What do you think?
And he would like open up. He's like, I shall select this one for this evening's entertainment.
Well, I would wear my robe and my glass of wine, and I'd walk down the hall. It'd be like every color of the rainbow. Mm-hmm. All different shapes, all different sizes, all different colors. It's just like, who's the lucky lady tonight?
Oh, this one has ridges. My Ruffles potato chips.
Because partnered adults have the most consistent sex, and more young men and women are flying solo, the share of young adults who are having regular sex keeps falling. I mean, it's true. That's what I always thought was funny about like the whole, I've hooked up with, I'm just going to use big numbers just to keep it theoretical, but it's like, I've had sex with 100 women. Okay. So how many times have you had sex? And it's like, well, like 100. And it's like, okay, well, I've been with this girl for 2 years, and we have sex 5 days a week. So 5 times a week for 2 years is a lot more sex. You know what I mean?
So they're just counting how many partners rather than how many sessions.
Well, that's typically the thing that people do.
Right, yeah.
People go for body counts. But it is true, and this illustrates the point where it's like, just because you're having sex with a lot of different people doesn't mean you're having a lot of sex.
Right.
So those are
it could be a one and done type of thing.
Wasn't there
like Tinder would be probably a reasonable.
I kind of vaguely remember, like on Tinder. I kind of vaguely remember on Friends, there was something, maybe it was a different sitcom. There was some sitcom, and I think Woody Harrelson was guest. Was Woody Harrelson ever on Friends? Did he ever guest?
He was on Frasier.
He was on Frasier, but anyway, I swear it was Woody Harrelson, and the girl was like, does it intimidate you that I've had more sex than you? And he's like, what makes you think you had more sex than me? And she's like, well, I've had these many partners. And he's like, okay. And then she's like, well, you've only been with 2 women. And he's like, yeah, we had sex like 3 times a day, 5 days a week. And then she gets all freaked out by it.
I hope you don't feel weird that I've had a lot more sex than you. I just want you to know that you are very special to me.
Oh, I know. Although just because you've had more partners doesn't necessarily mean you've had more sex.
What are you saying? Carry the 3.
Borrow the 1.
282.
Wow.
See?
3,105.
When it comes to sexlessness among young adults, the biggest change comes post-2010. Prior and up to 2010, the share of young adults aged 18 to 29 who reported not having sex held steady around 15%, only 15%. And I have to say, 2010, I was part of the 70 or the 85% there. That was, thank you. I'm just saying, yes, those 20, prior and up to 2010, those were the good old days. It's like the 70s, but like with condoms.
Or was it the Roaring 20s?
Yeah, but with condoms.
With condoms. Well, they had them back then too.
No, they didn't.
They were very archaic.
20s and up the 20s through like the 70s, nobody was wearing condoms. Condoms didn't become a thing until AIDS.
Well, they existed. Like didn't
They
have
existed, but
like
nobody was like
sheep intestines.
Yeah, I mean that was like during the Civil War. They were using sheep intestines.
Oh.
Have you ever tried those condoms? The
No.
lambskin condoms? Oh yeah. See, as a non-married sex haver, constantly pursuing not having to wear a condom and like getting it like all the nanotechnology they have now of like trying to it's
nanobots just come crawling up your shaft and go. Looks like the Matrix.
I can tell you like the pathology of like you start off with just the normal latex condoms, and when you're young and don't know any better, this is all you know, everything is great.
Because you're it's just like, oh, look at this thing I got my hands on.
Well, it's just like you don't know any better. There's no other. There's nothing to compare it to.
Yeah.
And so, although I do have a theory that's why for some guys,
That's it. That's the extent of it.
20 minutes later.
That's why the whole technology keeps advancing leaps and bounds compared to condoms.
Why waste your money on condoms and sex when you could buy an Own-A-Hole for $25 and it feels
Exactly.
It's like
That's a gift that keeps on giving.
The Own-A-Hole is like an 85, regular condoms a 50. It's the gift that keeps on giving. Hey, an Own-A-Hole is an investment, man.
It is. Yeah.
God, this is awful.
If Tenga wants to go and sponsor us, please do send a couple of samples.
It's like
we'll be happy to go and do a review online.
Okay, sexlessness among young adults 18 to 29 who had 24% of young people 18 to 29 had no sex last year.
That's a big jump. That's a big jump going from 15. I mean, it did go down to 12 in 2010, which was pretty bad.
How the no, but that's.
I mean, I'm sorry, that was pretty good.
That's pretty good. Only 12%.
I mean, it's an improvement, but yeah, to double.
That's
wow.
But I mean, that's crazy.
Well, we've heard stuff over the years, like people, less and less people, even in like long-term monogamous relationships.
In the 18 to 29 age bracket are not having sex. That just makes me sad for everybody.
Yeah. I think I've heard stories where people say like it's more of a mentally stimulating relationship that doesn't need to have any of the physical trappings associated with it.
You're telling me that these 18 to 29-year-olds would rather talk to each other than have sex with each other?
Well, they don't like to go out and drink. So, I mean, I wouldn't put it past them. They just want to stay at home and talk about, stuff, drinking kombucha.
This hockey stick kombucha. This hockey stick shape resembles the pattern identified by Jonathan Haidt in The Anxious Generation. In his book, Haidt calls the period of 2010 to 2015 the Great Rewiring. Adolescents going through puberty over this period were subject to all-pervasive digital media, kicked off by smartphone proliferation of the 2000s. Childhood became increasingly digital. Kids were not, consequently, exposed to nearly as much socialization as earlier generations. The digital media revolution left in its wake well-documented increases in pathologies like anxiety, depression, self-harm, and suicide. Well, that's all very disturbing.
Mm-hmm. So I guess that any of their interactions with their peers during this time period came through the filter of social media, and based upon that, you ended up getting these types of situations, which probably led them to not want to go and really interact with, people their age as a result.
I do think,
which would then also say that, the normal type of things that we would be used to, our generation.
right.
We're
This
doing.
this would seem to go counterintuitively to what a lot of people, parents would have said, my kids are being exposed to adult content, to pornography, to these things too early, and they're going to be mimicking the stuff that they see online.
Yeah.
And which rationally, I think, makes sense. Logically, that I can follow that train of thought. But the actual data seems to say that's not what happened. The data seems to say that, 14-year-olds were watching, let's say even younger, 11-year-old boys watching hardcore pornography on their phones in 2015. And then when they were like, yeah, I don't want to meet any girls. This is good enough.
Yeah.
And that's really, it's funny that in order to stop premarital sex, the church should have been showing more pornography to people.
Pornography, yeah. Because for us old timers, there was this whole process that in order to get to the pornography part of the relationship, you had to go through this whole previous multi-stage of a marathon almost. It was like an Ironman competition. You got the swimming, the running, the biking phase, and then you finally got to the finish line, which is what it is. These guys were just, here, you're starting at the finish line already.
Okay, so you mean like starting off with R-rated movie, and then
or just like in a relationship, if you saw a girl you liked and you wanted to get in her pants, there was a process you had to go through to get to that type of thing.
I see.
Getting to know them, going on dates, doing.
I thought you meant. I thought you
trying
were,
to make your way around bases, hitting for cycle.
I thought that you were saying that you wanted to watch pornography with your partner because you said there was a process to the pornography part of the relationship, and I was like,
"Oh, I'm sorry, no.
Gotcha. Okay, I was waiting. I was like, I mean, if you're into that, but, okay, depression. Okay, young adults are socializing less with friends. Hours spent per week with friends. We're young adults. We're still in the 18 to 29 bracket. So early 2000s, 12 and a half hours down to 5. Only 1 hour more per week than during COVID.
Yes. So it's barely, I mean, it recovered just a slight bit, but then it's dropped again. So it's probably going to be going down again, unless it peaks back up. But I mean, that huge drop just from, I would say, like, what would that be, like 2019 to 2020? That's a humongous plunge.
Alex, I was lamenting the fact that we can't hang out the way we used to because we don't live by each other anymore.
Right.
But our little, Culture Doom sessions, we account for almost half of the time that 18 to 29-year-olds spend talking to each other. So I guess we should be counting our blessings.
We have full-time jobs. You've got stuff that you do. I've got, wife and kids and stuff like I do, but we're still making do and meeting, if not beating, what teenagers currently have, where they've got really nothing to do.
If we do 2 days in a week, which occasionally we'll do a Wednesday and a Friday, we're well over the 5 hours that we hang out during a week. And Alex and I, you tend to have a beer or a cocktail or 2 or 3, or in my case 6, during the
bottles,
6 bottles during the encounter. So that's just really disturbing. I mean, at first it was funny that no one's having sex. Haha, isn't that silly? But now it's sort of like,
they're not even around anybody to have sex with.
Right. I don't understand how that. I guess just the libido. To me, in my head, my libido is still active. So the idea where it's like, because I texted you the other day, I'm like, hey, I got to get back on Tinder. Like, fuck this. This is too.
Hell yeah.
I just meet some girls again. My problem is up till after COVID. Up till COVID, I was having a grand old time, and then COVID happened. But see, what happened during Tinder is that I would date a girl for 3 months, and then it would run its course, and we'd move on. So that's how it was. It was just more like casual dating, getting to know each other for even if it was like 4 weeks, and then move on to the next one. Sometimes I broke up with them, sometimes they broke up with me. It was all kind of just very light dating. Then after COVID, everything got weird.
Yeah.
So
yeah. And it's still kind of hasn't really recovered from that.
No. The great rewiring of the early 2010s saw a rising generation of hermits. Notably, most of the decline in socialization actually happened prior to the pandemic. That's interesting.
That is interesting. Yeah, that's very...
Between 2010 and 2019, the average time young adults spent with friends in a given week fell by nearly 50%, from 12.8 hours to just 6.5. Pandemic pushed this number even lower to 4.2 hours a week with friends. And while there has been a slight increase since, we seem to have found a new norm. Young adults spent just 5.1 hours with friends in a given week in 2024.
Yeah. I am surprised, though, with that huge gap from 2010 to 2019, that during COVID, it didn't basically just completely bottom out. It still went down to, it still stayed kind of at that 4 point something hours and stuff, when literally you could not physically go in many cases out and meet with people.
It's funny because after the initial freak out from COVID, so like March, April, May, once that had kind of subsided, I do remember a couple of girls that I had dated pre-COVID being like, hey, do you want to come over? Or do you want to, like, bars you could like eat outside, when spring started happening. So like I would meet up with people that were sort of more open to like, hey, let's go, if we stay outside, let's eat and hang out and stuff. Or one girl, I went over to her apartment and we just hung out, watched TV, had drinks together. And so even in that COVID era, there was still like, there's people who still want to hang out and be together, So,
yeah.
Here we get into Mr. Married over here. I feel like this goes counter to what the stat used to be, like the old joke used to be. Look at Alex is like, yep.
Yep.
Casual sex. Married adults have more sex. Married 46% of men, 48% of men have weekly sex or more. And
I'm a little confused by this, because don't you need somebody else? Like, shouldn't that number be like the same?
I think it's because there are more married women.
Okay.
Than married men. Yeah. See, unmarried men had more sex than unmarried women. But married women had more sex than married men. I understand your confusion.
Okay, thank you.
But, okay, so unmarried makes total sense. We can agree on that.
Yeah, right, yeah.
Okay, so then married... Well, that's where the married women were having the extra sex. That's the extra 4%.
Who are those 2% that are making up that difference?
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's the 4% on the unmarried side. Those unmarried men that are 4% more than unmarried women are part of the 2% that are the 48.
Were they swinging?
Just the women. I think that's called cheating. Okay. Married couples face sex recession. Oh, but you're also having. You guys are also in decline.
We're in the 35 to 44 bracket.
So what's this? What's the 96 to 2008, 2010 to 2024? Hey, this is a grimmer stat in my opinion.
Well, you're not as flexible as you were in your mid 40s to mid 50s.
I think that maintaining. Okay, so that's basically we're in a sex recession and everything sucks.
Correct. And as a result of a sex recession, there also then comes to play the topic of the population recession.
Well, yeah, the birth rate decline obviously is a big part of indication of that. Like, I don't know. In my experience, when the sex goes away, it usually is a sign that there is trouble going on in the relationship, and you're on something. You're either the whole relationship is in decline, or somebody's unhappy, something's wrong, and it's usually a pretty good indicator for the health of the relationship. Therefore, the fact that culturally an entire generation of young people, 18 to 29, are saying, we're not having sex, we're not pursuing sex, is a pretty good indicator that there's something wrong with the culture and the generation.
Right. when they have basically already become that age 55 to 64 demographic that's down to that 20-some%.
Or that you're behaving like you've been in a relationship for 6 years.
And you have 2 separate beds.
Yeah, right.
Like in the sitcoms, which sounds pretty good.
So...
No fighting over covers.
It's like, I don't know how you fix this at all. But if there's any frustrated 18 to 29-year-old ladies in Chicago and the greater Chicago area, hey, hit me up. Contact a
And if you hit me up, I will go and refer you to a friend that I know. Be like, thank you, ma'am. Go that way.
I wonder if I should take a screen capture of my Tinder profile. My Tinder is not even active anymore at the moment.
Or just your picture. Yeah.
No, the actual account would be funnier.
Oh, yeah,
you know what I mean?
Just like your name and your age. Just pop it and we'll go bing.
And my my stupid little I just reactivated my account. Oh God! And instantly, the first thing it does is try to sell me shit.
Yeah.
As soon as I reactivated it, it's like, hey, why don't you?
How much would you like to pay to be disappointed by the women on this platform?
Right. Oh God.
You should, just for shits and giggles, you should try to go on a date with one of those absolutely abhorred women that are on there, where you go like, why are you even on here? You're just wanting to start a fight with somebody.
Oh God.
That'd be funny. Is that from ASUN?
No, that's from a Cubs game.
Oh, okay. Oh, you went with coworkers?
Family.
Oh, family. Okay.
Here I am with a cat.
Oh, really that's a surefire one. That's a surefire one.
Anyhow.
Ladies.
Yeah, well, I hope everyone has a great, wonderful, sexy end to 2025.